Hello, my name is Dr. Nish Sonwalkar, and let's discuss about the instructional design process. As you know, once you come up with a pedagogical framework like Learning Cube Pedagogical Framework, which I have been discussing in my presentations, how can we effectively now design with a model where we have multiple different learning strategies or differentiated instructions, and how can we make that as a pedagogically driven instructional design process. So let's begin with the instructional design process. As you know, most often the instructional design process begins with the identification of learner, and then identifying the learning objectives, and then mapping learning objectives according to the learner classifications or identification of learners whom you are designing this course for. And then you add the assessments at the end, and then you iterate through this process to improve this whole instructional design process, or what we call creation of the lesson plans and assessment to it. However, when you work with a very innovative thinking where you want to provide students with multiple different learning strategies, then you have to be very efficient in how you design these instructions in a differentiated way, and you can provide that pedagogically driven instructional strategy models. So the way in our thinking we have created this pedagogically driven instructional design is to first identify what the learning objectives are. Once the learning objectives for a given course are defined, then we can take that learning objectives and define a concept map. Because to meet a learning objective, you have to master certain concepts. So for each objective, if I can define 3 to 4 concepts which a learner has to master, then within that concept, I can also come up with sub-concepts which they have to learn in order to master the concept. So once we create this concept map, then we can take all the content which is provided by either publishers or the faculty and put it all together in a way that we start with the learning objectives, we can understand the learner profile, and then we can create based on the concept map what content is available and how we can create 3 to 5 different learning strategies as in terms of apprentice, incidental, inductive, deductive, and discovery models. And then we are able to provide them differentiated instructions, which is highly effective in a pedagogical sense. So once the content is put into a concept map, and we are able to take every part of the content available to us in terms of text, graphics, audio, video, and animation and simulations, and then we are able to put it all together in a way that we know for this concept we have a description, we have an exposition, we have a experiment, we have a video, we have a simulation. All of this is put into this concept bins, and now we can construct 5 different ways of presenting this content. One is, as you know, apprentice way, which is step by step; incidental way, which is based on the events in a case study; inductive way, where we provide lots of examples; deductive way, where we ask certain activities to happen and work, learn by doing; and discovery way, where we create the simulation or interactive exercises which lead to learning process. So once we are able to create for each concept these 5 different differentiated instructional models, now we have a highly rich pedagogically driven instructional design. And at the end of each pathway, which is taken by an individual learner based on his or her individual preferences, now we can put a diagnostic element or diagnostic concept quiz and understand whether that particular pathway taken by a learner is effective and efficient for that person or not. And that's the way we can now rotate students through different learning strategies and understand statistically which model is working best. And this is the principle which we have to follow in a pedagogically driven instructional design, where we can fully utilize the Learning Cube framework, which incorporates multimedia learning models and interactivity, and provides this wealth of learning cognitive opportunity for every individual learner to master every individual concept.